holiday season. My name's Quick Takes for a reason. Oh, yeah, that's a rhyme right there. We're going to have to keep that. 2024 season. I'm Quick Takes for a reason because I come in and get out. You don't need to believe them. All right, so let's get it started, man. Let's look at, let me pull up. I want to pull it up on my screen. We're going to start from Boston. Give you all a quick rundown just of everything. We're going to deal with the depth chart. We're just going to deal with the potential starting lineup, who should be big coming off the lineup. I mean, who we should be looking at to get a strong contribution off of the lineup, off the bench, sorry. Right? So I'll pull it up on my screen here as well. So their record, what was that? 64-18, pretty good. Last year, championship team. Now, this is my thing about Boston. I'm not like other people. I'm gonna keep it real. Boston's been my team. The funny thing is, for the last 4 years, now when they got the chip, they're not really my team anymore. I don't know if it's the underdog in me. I'm always looking for those underdog teams. And once I see a team to success, it's like, okay, I'm on to the next. But to tell you the truth, with Boston, it's a little bit different. I don't think they play the best team basketball. I love team basketball. I love to see ball movement. Boston just doesn't, they rely a lot on the 3-point. I don't like that. The your turn, my turn thing between Tatum and Jaylen Brown is still kind of, you could still see it. It's not a nice, smooth offense, right? And I think it's just the way that Tatum and Brown play. They're ISO type players. I don't think they play well within a system, which to me that bothers me, right? But I just love that team. I love Jaylen Brown. I love Jason Tatum. I love those two guys, man. I just like to see how they play together. I like the relationship they have together. They don't let all the media get to them. I like that. They've been through a lot. A lot of people are talking a lot about Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, whether they'd last. And I'm glad they got the championship out of the way. And I will always love Boston. But for me, I'm going straight underdog. I'm looking for the teams that need to develop this year. And we'll get into that. Let's not waste time. Let's go into the depth charts for Boston. Who do they have starting? Let's see who Boston has starting. So I see on the screen, I see one thing. I got something going on the screen separate. I see something different. So for me, I don't think that's the depth chart. You might probably want to go back and check that again. But for me here, when I'm looking at the depth chart, I got Jrue Holiday starting, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Al Horford. The reason Al Horford is there is because Kristaps Porzingis is out. I don't know how long he'll be out, but we know that Kristaps, he's an injury-prone player, right? That could be a problem, right? We need the Boston Celtics. I'm not gonna say we, okay, because I just don't feel like I'm claiming Boston. Just like Denver. Denver looked good the year when they won it. We had Denver the year when they won it. But I'm just on to bigger and better things. I want to see some good basketball this year, man. That's the main thing I want to see, right? But they need Porzingis. They're gonna need Porzingis. And maybe it's better if they kind of give him the time he needs off, so he could be able to get through the whole season. But they need him in the playoffs, so we're not worried about it right now. But like I said, he's always a person who you got to worry about when it comes to injuries, right? And they're pretty lacking aside from him. when it comes to the center position. I mean, aside from Al Horford, they do have Luke Cornett, who, Xavier Tillman's kind of small at that spot. Power forward, you got Jason Tatum, you got Sam Hauser, Sam Hauser is pretty good, really good 3-point shooter. I think he could play at the 3 and the 2. So I expect to see Hauser getting a lot of time. Lonnie Walker, I believe he is a new addition. I don't think he was there last year. So we'll see what Lonnie Walker can offer to this team. Peyton Pritchard backing up Drew Holiday at the point guard. Also, Jaden Springer. He played for Philly for some time. Not sure what he has left in. I don't know. I haven't seen him. But we're gonna keep an eye on the smaller players, the players that a lot of guys want to talk about. We want to see if Jaden Springer could work his way into the lineup somehow. Who else? I think that's about it. Not a lot. Jordan Walsh. You got Jordan Walsh, who I think this is his second or third year. Jordan Walsh. Hopefully he could step up a little bit. Boston, I'm gonna say this straight up. Boston, they might need to do something. But hey, I'm gonna wait and watch them. They're the defending championship team, but there's going to be a lot of teams coming at their neck this year. So, yeah, we'll watch closely and see how they're doing. Right now, this is a fresh look. I'm not even going off of anything I've seen in preseason because I haven't seen a lot yet from preseason. So, who do we got next? Who do we got next? Wait, what's this here? Okay, the preseason schedule. Okay, let's see what's Boston looking like there for the preseason schedule. They got 2-0. 2-0 for the Knicks. All right, cool. Yeah, and I don't even think, from what I've seen, I think I've seen one game. They didn't even look like they were playing that hard. They were just. So this could be a good thing for Boston. But at the center position, Luke Cornett is really gonna have to step it up for them. So yeah, we'll see how they do. But what's the next team we got? I think the reason I don't got much either on Boston is because they're the defending champions, right? So we just got to see how close they are to, not even close. They shouldn't even be close to what they are. They should be better than last year, and working on getting better last year. So when we watch Boston, that's what we're gonna see. We're gonna see if they look a little bit better than they did last year. All right. So moving on to the Knicks. What does their depth chart look like? Of course, a lot of changes. They added Cat, Karl Anthony Towns. I think right off the bat, they're a better team. I think what Karl Anthony Towns has to offer fits what the New York Knicks need more than Randall. And I feel the same way. I actually, you know what? I'm gonna say the Knicks won because I think Karl Anthony Towns, his fit with those guys around him, and a lot of talent, right? I think that's way better, right? I think it's a little bit more of a project with Randall and Anthony Edwards, but if Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle could work well together, along with those other, they do need to add some more pieces. We'll get to them when we get to them, but right now I do like how the Knicks look with. Let's look at the depth chart. Let me go. Let me see. The Knicks depth chart. Those are the players there, but I'm gonna click on the depth chart here to see who they got starting. Obviously, Jalen Brunson at the point guard. Mikal Bridges, they got him at the shooting guard. Josh Hart, they got at the 3. OG Anunoby at the 4, and Cat at center. So, and then their backup, they got Miles McBride. Looks like he's going to be their main backup behind Jalen Brunson. Precious Achua and Mitchell Robinson. Those are their main guys coming off the bench. Also, they do got Cameron Payne, who he's had his time in the NBA too. Also, the rookie Kevin McCullough. Jr. We'll see. He's out. I think he's dealing with, I don't know what kind of injuries. We'll look at that another time. Right now, I'm just trying to whiz by. But look out for that rookie right there. Obviously, Mikal Bridges, his first year. We want to see how he fits in with the new also Cat. How do I don't know how to say it. What Carl Anthony, Carl Cat. I just want to be able to say his name. I don't like Cat though. It sounds so weird. But yeah, Carl Anthony Towns. We'll see how that goes. That can work together. They might be. Their bench is kind of lacking though, so that's good for Boston. Their bench, I can't lie. The Knicks, their bench looks a little thin, but we'll see how that goes. So let's move on to the next one. Right now, the Knicks look like a project, but the Carl Anthony Towns, it should be dangerous, but it's going to take time for them to gel. So I think that you're going to see them losing some games, trying to figure it out. They are 2-0 in the preseason, but we'll see when the season actually starts. But I'm saying right now, there's going to be a lot of tough roads to go for the Knicks before things get before they get better together. So Milwaukee, right now it's really is Lillard happy in Milwaukee? Can Milwaukee make Lillard happy somehow? That's what it's really gonna boil down to. This year, I don't even know if I want to click on their depth chart right now because I've seen it and without having even really looked, uh, Milwaukee is gonna have a rough year this year. In my opinion, it's gonna be rough. Because yeah, this is the starting lineup: Damian Lillard, Gary Trent, Chris Middleton, who's really questionable. I don't know what he has left in the tank. You know what I mean? I haven't seen him much last year. He's another guy who's really injury prone. He's out. They're actually playing right now. So let me see Middleton out ankle. So you're gonna have to deal with that. You're not gonna if you had Middleton from the beginning of the season to the end playing with Damian Lillard, and that's another thing that will frustrate a guy like Damian Lillard. He won't be able to play with a healthy Chris Middleton, which they would need to even be competitive in the East, right? So it'll be interesting to see how they win games. I don't want to go through their depth chart, man, because it's really tough, man. It's really tough, man. We'll just move on, but we're gonna see how they do once the season starts. Shout out to Giannis. Got a lot of love for Giannis, but let's move on to the next team because it's gonna be from what I see here, it's gonna be really rough for the Bucks, man, this year. Unless other guys can step it up, unless a guy like Bobby Portis will be like a 15 points a game guy, Taurean Prince maybe 10 points a game, Delon Wright is their main backup, and it's like, what does he have? You got to pray that all these guys are gonna do what they haven't done in a long time. Gary Trent, does he go up? Does he go down? Does he stay where he's at? Right. So we'll see. But Cleveland, another team that I really don't know. We'll look at the depth chart, but Cleveland, I don't think they're going up, right? Like, I mean, they're kind of stagnant the last few years. Darius Garland, I think they played together throughout the playoffs, and they had a decent run. They did have a decent run. You got guys like Evan Mobley, who's still growing. But guys like Isaac Okoro hasn't really done what I expected him to do. That's their main guy coming off the bench. I do like Karis LeVert for them, though. He does contribute a lot coming off the bench. But their starting lineup, Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Max Strus, Evan Mobley, Jaren Allen. Don't know. I don't think they go up. I think they just stay doing what they do. Probably go to the playoffs, make some noise, and then get beat by another team, right? Unless they make an addition. But what are they going to do? I mean, it's Cleveland, right? I mean, right now the amount of guys that they have who are willing to play in Cleveland right now is pretty good. I don't think they're going to get much more than what they got already. I don't. You're not going to get a superstar to come and play in Cleveland. It's just the way it is, right? But we're watching every single team closely, so we'll have a more in-depth look once the games, and actually once I take a good look at the preseason games, we'll do another look at these teams. So we'll move on to the next team. Uh, what do we got here? Oh shoot, I think I backed out too far. Okay, so Orlando, I love. Let me be careful, okay? Because I was gonna say I love the Magics, right? You know, okay. Let's look at. Let me pull up the depth chart first. Okay, let me pull up the depth chart. Got it there. Yeah, make sure it's the depth, not the roster one, because let me see. I don't see the Magics on my end, but I like the Magics because I like a player named Paulo Banchero, who I think is due for a breakout season, man. I think this guy could score anywhere from maybe 23 to 26 points a game. You know, rebounds, playmaking. I think he'll get a good amount of assists. Would like to see him on a defensive end too. If he could get a steal and a block, he's pretty much hovering about around that last year. Jalen Suggs, I think he's going to be really good for them too this year. Obviously, KCP, Franz Wagner. I do like Franz Wagner as well. Wendell Carter, though, is going to be their starting center. Another guy who battles with injuries, and he's kind of up and down. Pretty, not that solid in terms of what he has to offer. But he is a solid piece when he's healthy. All right, so let's see who they got backing him up. They got Moritz Wagner, the brother of Franz Wagner. He's a solid big, right? And I think he does have room for growth. Jonathan Isaac is healthy. That's a good thing. He's looked good for the last since the end of the last season. I seen Jonathan Isaac was getting back into the roster, and so I do like the fact that Jonathan Isaac is healthy. Anthony Black, another young player who a lot of growth. I expect to see a lot of growth from him. Gary Harris. Cole Anthony, maybe a guy who you could see maybe get traded this year. Cole Anthony. I think the Magics are going to want to upgrade this roster. And I think Cole Anthony, if you package him up with someone else, would be a nice trade package for them. So I do expect to see a trade. I guess that's going to be the first bold prediction right now. I do expect to see a trade from the Magics so that they could catapult themselves into a contending team this year, and probably beef up their center position. All right. And maybe that could be the other piece. Maybe Cole Anthony and Wendell Carter. See if you could package them up. We'll see. But that's a bold prediction right there. So we'll move on to the next team. Shout out to Paulo Banchero. I do have him on my fantasy, my one fantasy team that I'm doing right now. But we'll get into that in another time. So what's the next team we have coming up right now? We'll probably only be able to do the East tonight, and do the West maybe tomorrow or another night. So what's that? Indiana. Tyrese Halliburton, one of my favorites. Solid player, right? And I don't think if you're a guy who has him like on a fantasy team or something like that, the one thing that I know you could count on with Tyrese Halliburton is he's gonna get through the season, most likely, right? He's gonna play as much games as he can. He's not a guy that looks like he's gonna get hurt a lot, so I like that. But again, this is the NBA. This is uh, you never know. Anybody could get injured at any time, right? But the thing I like is when you look at this depth chart. When you look around the whole thing here, there is no red, right? So red is your injuries, either a player who's out or day to day. Everybody is blue. That is beautiful for Indiana right now. Everything's on blue, no red. So everybody's healthy and ready to go. Um, that's where I'm gonna leave it at. They got a nice squad. Benedict Mathurin coming off the bench. Ben Shepherd. Which Ben Shepherd is this? I haven't heard of Ben Shepherd, but they got a nice solid bench. They got a solid starting lineup. Tyrese Halliburton, Andrew Nembhard moved into the starting lineup. Aaron Naismith, I don't know if they'll keep him at the starting lineup. That's pretty interesting that they got Aaron Naismith and Benedict coming off the bench, but we'll see how that goes. I think Benedict will work his way into the starting lineup soon. Jarris Walker, I would like to see him step it up a little bit. Look, who else we see here? James Wiseman. Can James Wiseman, does he have anything to offer? I still got hope for James Wiseman. So they're not worried though. They got Miles Turner, right? They're beefed up at the center position. They're nice. And like I said, they're all on blue. So watch out for the Indiana Pacers this year, especially if they could stay healthy. We'll move on to the next one. Shout out to the Pacers. Shout out to Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam, a former Raptor, of course. Can't forget that. I'm glad Pascal's in a good situation with Indiana. I think he's happy over there. Yeah, so that's good for him. So what do we got? We got Philly. Philadelphia, the Philadelphia 76ers. Look at the depth chart there. Okay, first of all, Tyrese Maxey, another Tyrese. I'm glad to see where Tyrese Maxey is at right now. I think he'll step it up another notch this year. So the only thing is though, a lot of responsibility is going to be on him as being the primary ball handler. So it's not going to be just about scoring, right? He's going to have to get his teammates involved. He's going to have to be the main decision maker. That's what he's the point guard. And there's a lot of responsibility on him right now. I know he could score, but like I said, this is not just about being able to put the ball in the basket. This is being able to run your team. I think he does have solid guys around him. Kyle Lowry, Reggie Jackson, that's another guy who's pretty good. Both those guys coming off the bench to back up Tyrese Maxey. I'm glad that they got Kelly Oubre still. They got him starting at the shooting guard. Obviously, Paul George at the small forward. Caleb Martin. That's pretty. I didn't know that they acquired him, but Caleb Martin, that's good that they got him at power forward. Though I don't like Caleb Martin playing power forward. He's never shown to me that, like he's a good small forward, 6'5". I don't know why they like Caleb Martin to be playing power forward, but the Miami Heat had him playing power forward too. I'm gonna have to watch that a little bit closer and see how he does, with that position. But if you're backup, you're playing power forward with Joel Embiid at center. That can't be too much of a bad thing. Obviously, if you could see there, Joel Embiid has some red on him. He's day to day. Obviously, we're not gonna mince words here, all right? And we're just gonna say it, But knock on wood. I'm gonna knock on wood right now. But another injury-prone player, right? We can't say that this is the year that he's gonna play an 82-game season. Is it gonna be the knee? Is it gonna be the back? To me, it's really about when I think about load management, I always think about Kawhi Leonard here in Toronto. We mastered load management, and that's what teams are gonna have to learn how to do with their star players. Learn how to load manage your players. They're gonna have to rest certain nights. It's just how that's where good, especially with a guy like Joel Embiid. You're gonna have to know how to rest him. Maybe you could call the Raptors staff they could help y'all out with that. But yeah, so I do think it's going to be a big gamble, but I do think that the Sixers need to be sick and tired of themselves, and I think they'll be so sick and tired of themselves that they're going to have to play so hard, and I think they're going to have to be a team that you have to take serious because they've been through it, and I think this is the year that if they can load manage Joel Embiid, this might be the year that they get to the finals, right? I think so, and they might even make a little move. Also, Grushan Yabusele, who played for France, they picked him up too. He played really good, and he played really good for his French team this year, and hopefully he could carry that over to his situation here in Philadelphia. It'd be nice to see if he could. I think he'd be better playing at the four. Maybe he could take over that spot that Caleb Martin has. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But got some other guys that I'm not too not. I don't have too much knowledge on. Andre Drummond, obviously, there. We'll see. Backing up Embiid, so that should be good for him. We'll watch that closely. We'll touch that again, but we'll move on. We'll move on to the next team. I think Philly is going to be scary. They're going to find out a way to be scary, and it's really going to be between Maxey and Paul George giving other teams problems, and then you're going to have Embiid. But like I said, they're really going to have to learn how to rest Embiid, know when to rest Embiid, how to rest him, and all that stuff. I think that's going to be the deciding factor for the Philadelphia 76ers. So we'll move on to the next team. Who do we got next? But Philly, Philly's all right, man. Philly's all right. Who's that? Miami. Miami. Not too much to really say about Miami. They're just gonna have to show me something. We'll just look at the depth chart though. Let me see. I like Khalil Ware. That's a name that sticks out to me. That's the rookie. He plays at center. He will back up. Maybe he could relieve Bam Adebayo. I really like Bam at the four. If Khalil Ware can show us something, move into the starting lineup at the center, and allow Bam to play at the four, that could be a little scary for some teams. You would have Terry Rozier, Tyler Hero, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and Khalil Ware. That's what I want to see by mid-season. And if the roster looks like that, the Miami Heat are going to be a scary team. All right, so let's move on to the next team. Shout out to Jimmy Butler, though. Shout out to Tyler Hero. Do like Tyler Hero. I think Tyler Hero, I got him on my fantasy team as well, so he does need to step it up. I need to see him scoring like anywhere from 20 to 23 points a game this year. So next is Chicago. All right, we'll look at the depth chart for Chicago. Obviously, they lost DeMar DeRozan. That could be a good thing for them. They might even go into full rebuild. One thing I heard that I liked a lot was maybe the Raptors getting their hands on Zach LaVine. That would obviously put Chicago into like full rebuild mode. They'd probably be looking for picks and whatnot. But let's look at their depth chart and see. I think that's pretty much the days I think are over for Zach LaVine in Chicago. It's not going to be a competitive team. This is going to be a team that's going to be like a lot of young players. Ayo Dosunmu, Lonzo Ball obviously injured, but Ayo, Matas Buzelis, Kobe White, another young guy, Josh Giddey, Patrick Williams, a lot of young talent on this team. They also got Jalen Smith. I think Zach LaVine, he's going to want to win, right? So I think he might be on the move soon. Where he goes will be interesting. This could be a good year for Josh Giddey, though, especially for the numbers. If you're a person who has Josh Giddey on your fantasy team, you could be in a good situation right now. I expect Josh Giddey to probably give you a couple triple-double nights. A lot of people think Josh Giddey is not that guy, but I think after this year, they will change their mind. So, yeah, I expect Chicago to go into full rebuild mode after a trade at some point. I think we'll see that before the end of this year. So we could move on to the next team. But shout out to the Bulls. So who do we got? That Atlanta, one of our favorites, the Atlanta Hawks. So we've had a lot of situations with Atlanta, especially their time. Obviously, the McMillan time and the Trae Young and it's my boy's name that went to Pelicans. Oh man, I can't get his name right now, man. But yeah, so Trae Young, him and sorry, I gotta go find his name. But yeah, those days are over. They're trying something new. I am glad that they got their hands on Zachary Rissacher, and I don't know if he's gonna start. I think yeah, they do have him in the starting lineup, but he will battle with DeAndre Hunter. Maybe the preseason. That should be an interesting preseason to watch. So DeJounte Murray, I can't move on without that's a guy who I respect a lot. Just his name kind of slipped my mind there. So yeah, DeJounte Murray and Trae Young, those days are over. Obviously, I don't know how much better DeJounte will do in New Orleans, but when we get to New Orleans, we'll talk about that. I do still see a situation. They got a lot of situations. They got people fighting for playing time. DeAndre Hunter is going to be fighting for playing time. I think if DeAndre Hunter does not find his way into the starting lineup, I think his days will be numbered in Atlanta because he could become a good trade piece with Clint Capella. So I do expect there's a good chance, and Zachary will have to work his butt off to keep that position. I don't think DeAndre Hunter is going to give it up that easy, even just for ego reasons, right? They got some decent players, or they got Dyson Daniels who can play at the 3, the 2, and the 3. Also at the point guard too. Kobe Buffkin, obviously, we want to see how he will do this year. Onyeka Okongwu, I think they have high hopes for him. I think they will want to move him in the starting lineup at some point. So I do believe Clint Capella will be on the move at some point this year with DeAndre Hunter, and that means that's like the happy ending for Zachary Rissacher, but he will have to earn every bit of that. So we'll watch that closely. I'm actually gonna probably watch. If I could watch any, if they played already, I'm definitely gonna watch one of their games tonight. So we'll get back to them. We'll leave it at that though, because I'll have a lot for Atlanta at another time. We're definitely gonna look at Atlanta again. So whoa, where did I go? So Brooklyn. I'm gonna say this. I think let's the crushing thing that I forget is that Brooklyn doesn't have any picks from what I know. I'm gonna don't mark me on that, but from what I know, Brooklyn doesn't have any picks for like the next 2-3 years. So this is the team you got. Who's the and I just see trades. I just see trades. If they could get someone for Cam Thomas, or if they could get a pick or two for Cam Thomas, Ben Simmons. You highlighted Ben Simmons there. He. I don't know. I don't know what to say about Ben Simmons. I actually did see a game with Brooklyn a preseason game, I seen Ben Simmons make a really good pass, man, that you would never see a power forward make, right? That's one thing. He's probably going to be the best passing power forward in the league this year. Maybe that's the only thing I could really say, which is good. You know, a 6'10" guy who could pass the ball really good. Really good passes behind the back, through the legs, all that. No look passes. But yeah, that's gonna be it. So Killian Hayes, it's gonna be a lot of guys who you see maybe if they could get better and maybe get a job somewhere else. People are gonna use Brooklyn for a come up this year. That's really what it is. So if you could use Brooklyn to come up, make a name for yourself, that's what it's gonna be in Brooklyn. Because remember, they're not going in. I like they have no picks, right? And the only way they could get picks is to trade these players. So none of these players will be here anyway in order for them to get better in the future. So it's a tough situation, but I want to say I'll watch them, but I doubt it. I have to watch every team. So I will watch every team because we want to be able to have something to talk about, to see who's doing what. Yeah, so we'll see, right? But yeah, look at their starting lineup. You could see that's rough, man. That is rough. All right, so Toronto. I I almost wanna. Well, hey, look, this is where Toronto, pretty much a Toronto-based channel, you could say. So obviously, we're gonna be watching the Toronto Raptors really closely. A lot of people got Scotty Barnes high. This is his team. This team is designed around Scotty Barnes and for Scotty Barnes. And it's a nice team when you look at it on paper. They look like a nice team. Grady Dick, he, like I said, as everything I predicted is pretty much going as planned. He did make his way into the starting lineup, right? And still, fingers crossed, we're not there yet. He has to stay in the starting lineup, all right? So I think he should be okay. And like there's not a lot of people challenging him at that position, anyways. So he really needs to use this time, and I think he's ready. I think he's been ready. I've always People would be up and down with Grady. I From day one when we got him, I didn't even think we'd be able to get our hands on him, and we did get him. So I was like, instantly, that's a good, especially with Scotty Barnes. I just seen everything. Everything was written out. But this was before we got our hands on RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickly. I wish I could tell you I seen that coming. Okay, like maybe this is something that you would do on 2K. You'd probably make a trade like that on 2K. You know what I mean? You wouldn't think of it happening in real life. You do it because it's fun. It's just a fun idea to have RJ Barrett in Toronto, but he's actually here, along with Emmanuel Quickly. Never would I thought we would have got RJ Barrett, but to get a kid like Emmanuel Quickly, who is definitely on the up and up, it's a good thing. So I just say let him play. Let him play. We'll see what Scotty Barnes does. People say he's a superstar. Then this is his year to be a superstar, or to actually, get on the trajectory to get into that point. So yeah. Well, hey, look, man, we got a lot. We'll be just like I said about Atlanta. We'll have a lot to talk about with Toronto. We'll probably do something just specifically for Toronto tomorrow, and or probably a game night or whatever. So yeah, we'll move into the other teams. But actually, and then the center position, definitely Jakob Poeltl. I do want to see a little bit more from him. I do like Kelly Olynyk coming off the bench, so I'm happy with a lot of things with the Raptors. But like I said, we'll get more into that at another time. So Charlotte Hornets, let me go straight into my boy. They're playing right now. They're up 72-66 against the Grizzlies. I wish I could watch it live, but right now the device I'm using right now is the device I would have to use to watch it. So I'll probably watch that later. But obviously, for me right now, it's gonna be LaMelo Ball. I'm looking for him to have a breakout year this year. I got a lot of people telling me that LaMelo Ball is not a star, and pretty much what we've seen from LaMelo Ball is going to be what we're going to get. And I beg to differ. I don't think that's the case. I think LaMelo Ball has a lot to offer. I think he's one of the few right now. Luka Doncic, in terms of big point guards, you had obviously Magic Johnson. Penny Hardaway had a short career. Luka Doncic, I would say right now, is that modern day big point guard who could get you a triple double. LaMelo Ball, I think he could be a guy who could give you a sneak triple double. Maybe not like a Luka triple double, but like a 16 points, maybe 12 assists, 10 rebounds, something like that. He's capable of doing it. So I do want to see that, but he will have to be healthy. Obviously, you see some red on his name, a day to day. We don't even want to look at another time. We'll look at their injuries, but a lot of red. You see a lot of red, right? So Brandon Miller, that's another player that we want to look at right now. My boy really likes Brandon Miller. I like Brandon Miller too. I think he's going to step it up this year. He will be solid. I expect to see him scoring 20 points a game easily. I think last year, I want to guess that he was hovering maybe around 16 to 17 points a game. I don't think that he needs to do anything else other than score this year. I think eventually he will be a more well-rounded player. He'll do other things on the court. I don't see Brandon Miller being a playmaker. I don't think he needs to be. If you have a guy who could score like that, I mean, he'll know how to play make. He'll know how to make plays for other guys. But I think Brandon Miller is going to be a guy who wants to put the ball in the basket, and if he could do that really well, that's a good thing. And other things, he could rebound. He's a big guy. He could rebound, and he's a decent passer. He knows how to play the game. So I really like Brandon Miller, and they got him at the 2, so that's really good. Josh Green also, they got him starting. That's good. Miles Bridges, Mark Williams. I like Charlotte. I'm going to be watching them closely. I like underdog teams. They're one of the underdog teams I'm going to be watching. So we will talk a lot about Charlotte on this channel. So we'll leave that at that. We'll look at the next team. We're going to do, just like I said, the East tonight, and another night we will touch on the West. So the Washington Wizards, obviously, our boy, and I haven't spoken a lot about the rookies today. I think, obviously, I spoke about the number 1 pick, and here, obviously, we got the number 2 pick, Alex Sarr, Jonas Valanciunas, former Raptor. I got a lot of love for. I like Jonas Valanciunas. It's unfortunate that he couldn't get a job on the Lakers. I think they could have really used him on there. Especially to relieve Anthony Davis. But hey, you know what? He's in Washington. He's getting paid. We'll see how Alex Sarr does. Marvin Bagley backing him up. Rashawn Holmes. Both guys who I remember, I think they both played in Sacramento together. Rashawn Holmes and Marvin Bagley. And not sure what they have left to offer a team, but we'll see. We'll watch them closely and see. Patrick Baldwin Jr., who's been bouncing around. People say he has a lot of upside. Bilal Kalubali, who they have him into the starting lineup. He looks good. He looks decent. I think he is going to be solid for them. Solid young player. Bob Carrington, another player who I seen a little bit from his preseason game. They got some nice young talent. Obviously, Kyle Kuzma, they still got there. But we're not going to be expecting much from the Wizards. But it'll be fun just to see the growth of these players. That's pretty much what I'll be watching. Malcolm Brogdon, obviously a leader to the team. So they have some leadership there. It'll be fun though to watch Alex Sarr. I want to see how he grows and how he plays as a power forward beside Jonas Valanciunas. So I will watch some of their games. But yeah, that's cool. But I don't expect them to do much more from last year. They'll probably be another lottery pick team, most likely. So the last team, okay, and I'm kind of glad that this is the last team because uh, I think this is gonna be a bet. I'm gonna have to put some money up that Cade Cunningham this year. I think he's gonna have a breakout season. Um, Another point guard. Like I said, you have a few big point guards in the league right now. Shy, you could probably put him in there. Shy is like what about 6'4", but Shy is long and he plays big. So Shy, Luca. I guess you could put Tyrese Halliburton in there. And Cade's like what? Oh yeah, and honestly, the other day I think who was Cade playing up against? Oh man, I can't remember, but it was a preseason game. And the player went up for a shot. Cade just blocked it. Like it was like Cade's 6'7". He's a big point guard. And the shooting, if he improves on the shooting, maybe the ball handling a little bit, making quicker decisions, I think he's going to be a really dangerous player. But he does have to improve on those things. So I will be watching closely. I seen the preseason game, and like I said, the defense looked amazing. Like I said, he's going to be a guard who could block your small forward, right? Because he's 6'7", right? So I do expect him to do a lot. The other guys on the team though, I just got to see them do it. Jaden Ivey, Asar Thompson, Tobias Harris, Jalen Duren. I got to see these guys step it up. To tell you the truth, I'm not really too fond of this team right now. Yeah, even with Tobias, it's not. But I'm gonna watch them closely and see. We'll see. Hopefully, last year was terrible. I think they broke the losing streak last year, and that's why Cade Cunningham's been getting a lot of flack. And I get it. I guess look, I'm not. He's got to prove it. He's got to prove these people wrong, and he's got to do it this year, right? So, last year they took a hit, but I'm expecting him to make a change. Otherwise, maybe the people who saying what they're saying about Cade Cunningham, maybe they're right because you only get so much time. You see what I'm saying? And injuries is not an excuse. If you're a guy who you're gonna get injured every year, then you're just not gonna be the guy, right? We can't make an excuse for you. I mean, look at Penny, right? Some people still say his name every now and then, but he just wasn't the guy because he just didn't play. He just didn't have that career because of injuries. Obviously, he showed some good things, but you know, so hopefully LaMelo Ball, Cade Cunningham, they'll kind of show us something, But sometimes it's that light skin. I'm not gonna say it, but it's that light dude energy. You know what I mean? So let's not do the light dude energy, man. All right, but we'll see, man. So we're gonna leave it at that. This was just like a raw. We got a lot of things coming. We're gonna talk about some fantasy teams. I got one fantasy team right now, so I'm gonna tell you about the players I got on that team. What we're gonna do, we're gonna try and make some picks, try and make some money on this channel because right now inflation's high, and if we could get some teams to help us make some money, some players can help us make some money with these some steel, some blocks. We need that this year, man, because gas prices are hurting right now. So we're gonna be tapping into Bet 365, see if we could do a little something something. All right. So yeah, this right here. What is this? This looks like a phone number that I'm seeing on the screen. I can't really see it, but what is that? Oh, is that the record? Looks like the record. Yeah. But I mean, look, man, we'll cut it short because we're gonna have something coming for them. We're still trying to figure out the schemes, like how we're gonna be coming at y'all. So we just wanted to get out here tonight, just lay something down. But we'll be back at y'all before you know it. I need to get some games under my belt. I'm gonna be watching games all night tonight, all day tomorrow. So by the time I come back at y'all, I'll have a lot more to share. Well, who knows what we'll do, right? We'll probably even do a over under. We might do the whole review again, do it quick, even faster, just with the over under thing. So we'll see, we'll see. But we're gonna leave it at that. We'll catch y'all on the next one, hopefully tomorrow. But you'll see on the notice. And yeah, all right, y'all have a good night.